Okay, we're back. So, sorry about that. So this is part two. If you guys haven't seen part one, go back and watch that before you watch this. But, so we're at the point in the hospital, right? So, I'm going through the withdrawals, I'm going through all this shit, and nothing out of the ordinary, right? I've been through this before, the vomiting, the freaking diarrhea. I mean, it is nasty, guys. I mean, when your body is detoxing from that shit, it gets ugly real fast. So I'm sitting there doing all that, whatever. So I finally, about the second night in, close to the third night, because, I thought, okay, I really been sleep deprived. You can't sleep. You're constantly anxious. You're whatever. But so when I fell asleep, or at least I thought I fell asleep, this was not a dream. This was not a nightmare, because I know the difference between that. This was, I believe, and this is just my opinion, and those of you who practice religion know what I mean, but if you read in the Bible, it talks about you can get visions, like visions of places that are beyond the earth. You know what I mean? So, and yes, I've seen like shit like The Exorcist and shit. No, it wasn't like that, okay? So, I dreamt that I don't even know how to describe this. I mean, honestly, guys, it's just one of them things. It's almost like something you see on a movie. You know what I mean? And so, I fell asleep, I remember that. And then all of a sudden, I woke up, and everything in the room was dark. I mean, I'm not talking just closing your eyes and not seeing anything dark. I'm talking, it was so dark that you couldn't see nothing. Absolutely nothing. Even if you go into a room and shut the lights off, you can at least see the light coming through the cracks, or you're in a hospital, right? So you can see something, some sort of light from the machine or whatever. No, this was complete black darkness, okay? And that was the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed is that it was really, really hot. And the best way I could describe it is, if you guys have ever preheated an oven to like 400, 500 degrees, and you open it up, you know how hot that is? You have that gust of steam that hits you, or that gust of heat that just punches you right in the face. That's about how hot it felt like, okay? And mind you, this entire time, it's not like it wasn't like what you see in the movies, like seeing people on fire or something like that. No, it was nothing. It was just nothing. Nothing. Except for the darkness and the heat. Are the only two things I noticed at this point. Now, mind you, it's still dark, right? Still can't see anything to this point. But then I had this feeling that I was being strapped down to a table. And if you just lay in the center of your bed, right? You guys know what that feels like, okay? Imagine you're laying in your bed and you got about 2 or 3 people strapping your arms and legs down. That's what it felt like. Like total helplessness, right? But keep in mind, I still haven't seen anything up to this point. It was still dark, and I'm confused. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? What is this? What is... I'm just confused. It's like, God, am I awake, or am I dreaming, or is this a nightmare, or what is this? But it just felt really real, okay? And after after getting that feeling for a little bit of being strapped down, felt like I couldn't move. Like I was just stuck. And still hot, still dark. But the next thing I remember, guys, and this is the honest to God truth, I start hearing this growling. Like, not like a cat growling or a dog growling. I'm talking just a real deep growl. Like, something like that, right? Just really deep, really, really low. And now of course, now I'm thinking, what is going on? What is this? And this is real hard for me to even talk about, guys, even though it's been about 5-6 years. I saw this face. Finally, now I can finally see something. But this is all I saw. I saw this long, reptilian face. And the best way I could describe it is like an alligator. And that's what I tell everybody that talks to me about this, at my church or whatever. It looked like an alligator. And freaking teeth, like all in different spots of its, I don't know if it was its face or mouth or whatever. But when I saw that, I was shaken uncontrollably. I remember that, and I couldn't move. I couldn't get away from this place that I felt like I was in. I'm thinking, what is this? What is this? Why is this? What is this thing? I mean, what is this? I'm so confused. Then, this is when I started to feel pain. And what it felt like is if you took, imagine if you had like your fingers are box cutters. Like those utility knife box cutters, and just going like this, back and forth, all along my chest, repeatedly. And it was this face and thing that kept doing that to me. And I started, or at least what I felt like, I was screaming in agony. And it almost was like it liked that. It wanted to hear that out of me. It wanted to hear pain. And what felt like this lasted for hours, apparently it was only about a 5 or 10 minute deal, because the nurses told me that they could hear me through the door and everything. I was screaming in agony. And so let's just say it lasted 5 minutes, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this? Please help me. And the only thing I was thinking, I couldn't really speak because it was so uncomfortable, is I called upon my belief, my God, or who I thought it was, right? And when I did that, that's when I slowly started coming back to reality. And so this took, I don't know. I don't know how long this whole thing lasted, guys. Okay? I'm just guessing kind of here. But let's just say the whole thing itself maybe lasted 10 minutes. And by the time I could see the nurses, when I came to, one nurse looked like she had saw a ghost. Like, she was so shocked and so scared of what she's seen. And later, I asked her, what did you see? Why were you looking at me so scared? She said, because you kept screaming that. And honestly, guys, it happened like so close with each other. I mean, it was just event after event after event, so didn't even have time to process it. And she said I was screaming, help me, I'm going to hell. And I don't remember saying that. But after I laid there for probably an hour, then it kind of started hitting me what I saw or experienced. So yeah, I mean, guys, this is hard for me to talk about. It really is. Because it was so horrible. That memory I had hit me like a ton of bricks, what happened. Guys, it was the most horrible thing. I mean, never mind a frickin' movie. I mean, a movie doesn't even touch this. I mean, you know how you get scared watching a scary movie? I mean, times it by 1,000,000. You could not, there is not a movie on the face of the earth right now that could scare me as bad as that incident did. And I don't tell people that I went anywhere. I just tell people what happened to me during that time and how it humbled me and made me realize that I need to be thankful for what I got. I need to be appreciative of every day that I get and certain things, even if it's not the greatest day. And, not to take things for granted. And I had a lot of time, guys, to lay there and just think. Because I didn't get out of the hospital after that. About another 2 days I was in there. And after that happened, I really didn't have much to say to anybody. I was just trying to still take it all in. And I'm going to do part 3.